I'm quite worried about this, and I didn't even realise it was a thing until yesterday, because next summer we could see yet another transfer window where we see quite a few players leave West Ham United and quite a few players join West Ham. We could actually be forced into another big spend up in the summer of 2023 due to the amount of players that are currently in the final year of their contract. I'm going to go through them in this video, but the reason I'm worried is because next summer you're making a prediction. Can West Ham do this? Can West Ham oversee a large turnover of players, of playing staff members? And in order to form opinions of any predictions that you make, regardless of what it is, the only thing that you can do is use evidence that you've already seen. You have to take what's already happened, take that into consideration, anything else that might impact the outcome, and then make your prediction. So I'm looking at the last summer, how West Ham have gone so far this season, to make my prediction of how this summer, next summer, could go. And that's why I'm a little bit worried. I didn't even know this was a thing until yesterday. I sat down to do my Creswell and Ashby video, started thinking about it, and it's the domino effect, isn't it? You make one thought and before you know it, you're going off in tangents. And I thought, hang on a minute, we've got possibly another big summer coming up. And it's a different type of summer. This summer, the one that's just passed, was all about the transition, it's been called, if you like, the switching of styles at West Ham United. We've been playing one way so far under David Moyes, and he has decided we need to play a different way. And I don't disagree with that. I think he's acknowledged that. He's identified we've been caught out a little bit. We're going to have to change up. Teams feed us a bit more. They sit back a bit more. So we're going to have to change the way we play. And we know that that's the plan. Mark Noble was on TalkSport last week promoting his autobiography. Good read, by the way. And he spoke in there about how last season he was discussing it with David Moyes and they were making plans for changing the style at West Ham. And they knew it was going to be tough. They knew they had to get certain players in, different types of players, so that we could change the style this season. Now, whether you think they've done that or they're doing that or they're not even bothering to try, that's not what this video is about. I'm the latter there. I don't think I've seen anything to suggest that we're trying to transition, never mind doing it successfully. But that is part of this, the evidence I take into creating my opinion ahead of summer 2023. And it's miles away. It is miles away. But you've got to start preparing for that now due to the situation we're in. It's not a case of do we sell X, Y, Z. It's a case of do we renew the contracts of X, Y, Z. When it comes to selling players, you don't need to decide until May. You don't need to decide until the end of the season if you're going to sell certain people. And there is one or two players West Ham could be selling next summer. We'll deal with that in May at the end of the season. But when it comes to renewal of contracts, well, ideally you need them decided before the end of the calendar year. Because on the 1st of January, some of the players I'm going to go through with you today can agree contracts with foreign clubs. And I'd imagine one or two of them might actually do it as well. So decision time is now on these players. And this is why I'm worried. Is David Moyes the man to oversee another overhaul next summer at West Ham United? But before I discuss all that, it is 25% off mug day at Hammers Chat, not including myself and Gonzo. But if you fancy getting one of these mugs, it's 25% off. Head over to hammerschatstore.com/mugs. Links in description and pinned comments. Any that you fancy, pop them into your basket. Discount is automatically applied. 25% off any Hammers Chat mug, 50% off Gonzo. And there's a reason I'm waving this one around actually, because this is our first ever piece of Hammers Chat merchandise. Not this exact mug, this design. Next level mug, and on the back it says world class tea in a world class mug. And not only is it our first ever piece of merchandise, it's our top seller. Everything we sell on the store, this is the #1, followed by the Claret and Blue polo shirt, followed by the beer mats, and that's 1, 2, 3. But this is still #1, still going strong all these years. So yeah, fancy a bit of a mug, head on over there or simply tune into my video tomorrow. Right, so the reason for this video, yesterday I did one on Creswell and Harrison Ashby. Then like I said, it got me thinking about all the other players whose contracts are up this season. And I'm going to run through them. So we've got Lucas Fabianski, Dan Randolph. We've also got Sufal, Dawson, Ogbonna, Commentary and Lanzini. Obviously Harrison Ashby as well, we dealt with that yesterday. And officially adding Creswell, but like I said, I do believe the rumours that we've triggered the 1-year contract extension. However, discard them two. There's still 7 players that are registered in West Ham's first team. Now obviously we can remove Dan Randolph pretty quickly from that equation because he's not involved in the first team. He's not made any appearances But that still leaves 6 players. 6 players that so far have played big parts in the season. And when I start comparing it to the players that have left this season, I would argue, in terms of the playing side of it, there's another side here, the playing side of it is probably greater the summer coming up. That is if we don't extend the contracts. As a prediction, I think we'll extend Fabianski's contract. I think he's having a good season. I think we'll extend it. I think Randolph will let go. Soufal's the interesting one. Strongly linked to Bayer Leverkusen. That rumour is not going away. On the 1st of January, he can, of course, agree a pre-contract with Leverkusen if they wish, and then join at the end of the season on the free. Craig Dawson we know about. We know he wants to move back up north. I don't think his form so far has been great. Is that impacting his performances? It's possible. It is very possible. I'm not sure he'll be here next season. Lanzini, well, a decision needs to be made. A decision needs to be made on Lanzini. He, just like Soufal, has a clause in his contract, but it's not a 1-year clause like Creswell. It's a 2-year clause. So West Ham trigger it. It keeps them here until the summer of 2025, which I think is a big commitment from the club. I'd imagine if it was a 12-month contract extension, I think the club would probably be a little bit more inclined to trigger that of Soufal and Lanzini. But given it's 2 years, we're not sure. I'm not sure. And with Lanzini, we know it's quite public. He speaks about it. He wants to go back to Argentina. He wishes to end his career in Argentina. However, the question is it now, or has he got another couple of years in England? And then Conor Coventry, we'll have to wait and see. And then Ogbonna as well. It's another wait and see, isn't it? I'm, at this time, I've had to make a prediction. I don't think Ogbonna will be at West Ham next season. I'm not sure he'll ever get back to as good as he was. I think he's been good in the Conference League, but Conference League to the Premier League is a massive step up. That's why I'm unsure about Conor Coventry. I hope he steps up another couple of levels. But I think game time for some of these players between now and the end of the season is going to be somewhat limited. The Conference League group stage games are gone now. When it comes to the knockout, we're not going to be playing. I don't think we'll be playing Ogbonna centre-back. I think we'll see Aguerd and Zuma. I don't think we'll see Conor Coventry centre midfield. I think we'll see Rice and Souček, or Rice Lanzini, Rice and Downs. Something like that, a stronger team. So going forward, some of these players' playing time is going to be limited. But at the minute, those are the players out of contract. And that's without taking into consideration those players that may be sold on top of that. Now, obviously, the sales, 1 or 2 of them are currently out on loan, so it's not really a loss. But obviously, Declan Rice. Is Declan Rice going to be here next season? I hope so. I bloody hope he is. But if not, that's your captain leaving, your best player leaving. Do we trust this manager to oversee the overhaul again? It's a different overhaul, though. That's what I will say. It is different. This summer that we've just done, that's ripping the plaster off. That is, let's get different style of players in. Let's change the style at West Ham. But that's part of the reason why I'm worried. I don't think we have. I don't think we have seen a change of style. And if we have done, well, I don't think it's very good, because most of us, I know a lot of people watching this will agree and a lot will disagree. But for those that do agree with me that we are still playing the same tactics, well, we haven't seen anything obvious to suggest that we are changing up. We've seen some tweaks in formation, but the style of play is somewhat similar to last year. But then I take a look at the players that left last summer. Right, I'll run through them with you. Diop, 26 appearances, all competitions including subs. 26 appearances. Yarmolenko, 32. Fredericks, 15. Vlasic, 31. I bet you never knew Vlasic made that many appearances. I certainly didn't. The majority were off the bench or in the cup competitions. Masuaku, 21. Noble, 23. Kral, 6. And David Martin didn't make any. But the difference is, while you're listening to this, I mean, that's a lot of appearances. 170 appearances between that list of players I've just read out. And the list that is possibly leaving it in summer 23, so Fabianski downwards, and I'm including Creswell here, it comes out at 90. Yes, 90 appearances so far from those players. So there's not loads in it in terms of appearances, but those players that could be leaving are greater than the ones that left this summer. Soufal is a greater squad player than Masuaku, for example. Lanzini is greater than Vlasic. Ogbonna is greater than Diop. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Badly. But my worry is, it's not just the players itself, it's also the people. The people that would be leaving the club. Like I said yesterday in the video, early on this season, Declan Rice told us things are different now. The change room's a lot quieter. Tilo Kerrer came in and said the change room's quiet. It's a really quiet place. I've stepped up to be a leader because the change room is really quiet. It's lacking something. It's lacking character. The players that left this summer contributed to that. So while their appearances may not be great, what they gave us on the pitch may not be anything exciting or significant, but what they gave off it was the glue. They were important parts of the success over the last 24 months prior to this season, finishing 6th and 7th, the European run. These people, Mark Noble, Ryan Fredericks, David Martin, they're the three that got singled out by Mark Noble, and somewhat unsurprisingly as well. Issa Diop, how many videos did we see the club put out? And I know the club put it out, so you can only judge it so much, but half of it was them just walking out the changing room, right? That's not, Diop's not putting on a show. He doesn't know there's a guy around the corner of the camera. He just comes out and there's a camera there. But how often did you see Diop having a laugh with someone like Kurt Zouma or Masuaku? Diop was always constantly with a smile on his face, having a joke. He was part of the ones that looked like he was having fun at West Ham. And losing characters, I think, is somewhat underappreciated a little bit. And I'm just looking ahead to next summer with all these players running out of contract. You know, at the minute, officially, Creswell, he's our vice captain. We could also lose our captain in Declan Rice. It's another potential huge summer coming up in summer 2023. A huge summer of change. Like I said, a different change. Well, but you know what I'm trying to say. This summer was meant to be the summer of transition. Next summer, you could argue it's a good thing. You could argue that this is actually what West Ham need long term. Getting rid of players that are squad players and bringing in greater. Because we certainly did this in the summer. We let Yarmolenko go and replaced him with Gianluca Scamacca. We let Vlasic go and replaced him with, well, tried to replace him with Maxwell Coney, but we replaced him with Lucas Paqueta. We let Diop go and replaced him with Nefa Guerd. Right, these are upgrades. Masuaku left, Emerson came in. Every player that left had an upgrade this summer, I would argue. Next summer it'll be a bit more difficult because I think the ability of player leaving is better than the summer that's just gone, summer 2022. But the potential is there to bring in new players. But do we even have the money? This is the other domino, isn't it? Do we have the 150 million it's going to take to replace them? How much would it cost to replace, let's say, Craig Dawson, a Premier League centre-back, and Ogbonna leaving? They're both leaving, so you need at least one significant Premier League level centre-back. Well, we know how much they cost. 25 million. Aguerd, Zuma, 25 million each. Now, they don't both have to be of that ability, but certainly one of them would have to be. And then the other one's an older player, a lone player, a bit of a punt, a young upcoming player who's not quite ready for the Premier League, something like that. But you would certainly need one significant centre-back brought in should them two leave. You know, letting Lanzini leave, he's had a big part, 17 appearances this season. Fabianski, I always say though, I do always say, there's always a good free keeper out there. Every summer, there's always keepers out there. They're capable of being the number 2 at a Premier League club for free. There's always backup Premier League goalkeepers on a free every single summer. So I'm not too fussed if Fabianski went. It would mean that Ariola steps up, Heggie becomes part of the squad, and we'd have to get somebody in, and we can do that on a free. Just not someone like Roberto, please. We can't be having that again. But we can replace Fabianski. But the reason for this rambling video is because yesterday it just triggered something, and I started looking ahead to next summer already. And I know people make a joke, and that's not really a joke. You don't know what league we're going to be in. I mean, they're doing this correct, isn't it? It's possible. I don't think we'll get relegated, but it's possible that we could be in Championship and all these players come to the end of their contract would be good. But arguably, that's part of the problem. We cannot decide the futures of these players while we're in a relegation battle. You cannot be handing out Premier League contracts to Premier League players when you might be heading to the Championship. We wouldn't be able to afford all this next season. And the ones that are still, I mean, you could argue that's the type of players you need to retain. If we did get relegated, hypothetically, you do need Connor Coventry. Suddenly Soufal becomes a really good right back. Suddenly Lanzini, please stay for that further 2 years, please. The ones that we've just signed be the ones off. But next summer, we at the minute are staving another overhaul in the face. And it's made me a little bit nervous, regardless of what league we're in. Because A, the evidence so far suggests Moyes can't do it at West Ham in terms of large players leaving, a large number of players leaving, a large number of players arriving in one go. He struggles with that. when he adds 1 or 2 players in a transfer window and that's it, generally he's pretty good. In the January transfer windows, only Lingard come in, success. Just the window before that, only Souček and Jared Bowen arrived, success. Now you could argue the summer 2021 wasn't great. 4 players arrived, 2 were a success. Kral came in, was rubbish. Lasic came in, was rubbish. Areola and Zuma also came in, they were successes. So when it's small numbers, generally he's not too bad. But when it becomes large numbers, big money, he struggles a bit. Going by what we've seen at West Ham so far, and that only. I'm not going before that, because football changes so much. I don't think you can compare the Everton Moyes to the West Ham Moyes. It's different generations of football completely. Everything's different. The transfers are different. How you identify players are different. The Rob Newman, the fact that Jordan Miles. At Everton, I would assume he didn't have a Jordan Miles. Jordan Miles is the analyst at West Ham that runs the numbers that identify Thomas Souček. He's become a bit of a cult hero on Hammer's chat because of that interview. We found Thomas Souček and there was all this, where the hell we got this guy from? We not even got a scout. And then the story came out that Moyes went to the analytics guy, Jordan Miles, and said, excuse me, I need a centre midfielder. He ran the numbers and came back with Thomas Souček, and the rest is history. We signed Souček, it was really good. Happy days. So Jordan Miles wouldn't have existed now. He exists now. Data has a big impact on the way that we go about our transfer dealings and stuff, and it will have a big impact on the way we go about next summer, and it also will have a big impact on deciding the futures of these players. But at the minute, I wasn't even worried about this 2 days ago. It wasn't even a thing. I didn't even know. I wasn't even aware it was a thing until yesterday. I went to do that Creswell Ashby video, and I just don't know, I have a wave of panic come over me. Maybe it's just me being a little bit emotional at the minute, given the situation we're in. You know, we only played Leicester on Saturday. It wasn't even a week ago yet. But I don't know. I don't think I am being. I think it's genuine cause for concern, actually, that we could have another big summer coming up, and possibly an expensive one. A, have we got the money? And B, do we trust this man to do it? I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Sorry for a bit of a negative video, a bit of a grumpy one, but yesterday was positive. I was pleased about the Creswell thing. If you enjoyed this video, however, do drop a like on the Scout new channel. If you fancy getting yourself a mug that's not myself a Gonzo, head over to the store. Grab yourself one, 25% off all mugs. Happy days, and we'll catch you tomorrow.